Welcome back to the Fly Shields Fly podcast. We knew that this would be the last episode of the season, regardless, but we're hoping it would be under different circumstances. What a ride this season was, but we fall short. 27-20 to the Louisville Kings at home at Audi Field. And it had us up in the beer snake on the edges of our seats, or bleachers, if you will, railings, up until the last second.
Dude, you sound hurt. You sound like your heart's broken. Like you are just demoralized and you might not make it through the podcast. Are you okay?
I mean, I'm not okay. Everything will be fine. Life will go on.
It shall.
It is spring football. So in the grand scheme of things, as much as I love it, small peanuts. But yeah, it hurts, especially because we had a commanding lead. I did protest the press conference. I did not go to the press conference after.
So you had the credentials. You decided not to go.
I did not go to the press conference. I did everything else.
We're gonna do a whole breakdown on your game day experience. We had very different game day experiences.
Yes.
But we gotta obviously dive into that. What are we starting off with?
We're gonna still follow the structure of the usual pod. We'll start with the opening drive. But my opening drive, I want us to go back to where times were good. I want us to go back to where smiles were had. And I want us to talk about your favorite individual plays of the Defenders season this year.
The whole season.
The pod. Yeah, I got two that stick out.
All right, you go one, I'll go one. Then we'll give our second.
Well, mine are like kind of on the same theme, so I feel like I need to give
for it.
So, to me, my two favorite plays, I think it also just unlocks something that's in us as a kid. And that's that things that are normally done with two hands are so much cooler when they're done with one hand. Because the two plays I thought of that were my favorite of the year by far is the Cornell Powell touchdown, one-handed touchdown from Piamu earlier on against the Renegades, I believe. And that I was with at PJ Wellhands with my friend. He was like, "Oh my God, that was awesome!" And then the Derek Parrish sack a couple weeks ago, where he just gripped him up with the Falcon grip and brought him down with one hand. Like,
okay, all
things
right.
are cool when they're done with one hand. Now, as a coach, not proper technique. You want those two hands because you're tired of seeing kids drop them. How many passes have we seen kids drop because they're trying to be fancy? But it was cool as a fan. Cornell Powell one-handed catch for a touchdown. Derek Parrish one-handed sack. The year of the one hand. Those are my favorite plays.
Those are two solid ones. I know we've given our kicker some grief for some kicks he's missed, but seeing the first ever 4-point field goal from 60 plus was kind of amazing. Great way to start the season. Love that. Wow, two of my favorite plays came in losses. So that first game was against the Seattle Blackhawks. 60-yard field goal, 4-pointer. And my second favorite was the Derek Robeson, D-Row just absolutely clobbering Mr. Rogers.
That was my bronze medal. Just the car accident.
That was just an iconic hit. I think the hit will be remembered more so than the final score of that game. But in the moment, that was just electric.
Could we argue that hit is where it all went wrong?
It did something to Mr. Rogers. It woke him up and just sent him on an absolute tear. So I don't know if that is the highlight of the season, but that's definitely one of my favorite in isolation plays of the year. I'd say my one more is just the Zay Valladay, the long run for the touchdown. So we had a long run that got called back and then we ran the same exact play. He hit it the same way, broke a tackle in the backfield, escaped around the right side, and just took it to the house. So the fact that we had that play, we knew it was in the book, we knew it was in the bag, and we came back to it and it hit for a 60-yard touchdown was just
I would have loved
beautiful.
Coach Keis's Mean mug, just stone face. Yep.
Just knowing he's the dude. Just
Leave it.
knowing, yeah, obviously that worked. I
Yeah.
designed it that way. Yeah,
Well,
so those are my three.
it feels like we're talking about positive memories of
Of a friend who's gone.
it's gone. I didn't want to say it. You said it. You said it first. But
I
that's
mean, well, if we're gonna be real, the first season of the Flash Shields podcast is coming to an end. This is the most tapped in I've ever been with the DC Defenders in all its
welcome to it.
iterations. And it's the end of something that we spent a lot of time with. The
Yeah.
listeners have spent a lot of time. The fans of Rowdy Audi have spent a lot of time, and I think this is kind of a post mortem episode. As sad as that sounds, that's kind of what this is. We're breaking down what went right to get us to the championship game, what went wrong in the championship game, and then we're not going to be talking about the defenders for a little bit.
Yeah. I
It's a
mean,
little sad. It's a
I
little sad, but we got to bring the energy. We got to keep the energy up.
I have a couple ideas for some stuff we'll do over the next couple weeks
Heck yeah! Can't
before
wait to hear it.
hibernation. But we'll touch base offline. So you mentioned Rowdy Audi, and that leads to not a history lesson this week, but I figured it'd be a good opportunity to talk about my experience my first ever experience as a distinguished member of the media.
Credentialed, distinguished member of the media, Coach Marsden.
So
Welcome to the
listeners,
show.
for a lack of context, I applied for media credentials. I said, why not? You know what? I'm going to apply for media credentials as the official podcast of the DC Defenders. I applied for credentials for the Fly Shields Fly Pod, and I got them at late Wednesday night, like as soon as we logged off with Dre Mintz, and it was awesome. Should I just let it rip, and then you'll ask clarifying questions?
Dude, I'm on the edge of my seat.
All right.
Please.
So, went down in the morning, and I didn't want to. I wanted to like see something I hadn't seen before, so I stopped at the Frederick Douglass House. Had to scratch my history teacher itch. Had to see something new, see something cool, so I could show off to the kids. So I met up with my buddy Bill at the Frederick Douglass House. Then checked into the hotel. I saw your boy, the guy who. Is it Tom something that drank a beer in the beer snake a couple weeks ago? I think he did it again. He was in the lobby of the hotel I checked into. That was
My
interesting.
guy?
That's your boy. I just thought that was your boy.
Who's Tom? I don't even know who you're talking about.
The beer snake guy that works for ESPN. He was like, and he chugged an IPA by accident. Remember? Yeah, your
The
boy.
homie Tom.
Yeah. Anyway, so as soon as I checked into the hotel, I changed into my fit, which for those of you that don't know, you'll see a dump later today, but was my Defenders red polo, a red and white, like a barbershop pole or candy cane tie, and my lemon hat. And I felt good. I actually, fast forward, I had 3 people when I was on the field ask me if I was the MC.
A look that only Coach Robbie Marsden could pull off.
Yeah,
I can pull off a lot of looks, but the polo and the tie is supremely iconic and exclusive to Coach Marsden.
I could see us doing it. We'll be a tandem on the field next year. Anyway, so I have a specific entrance I need to get to. So I take an Uber, get dropped off at the corner. I go into the media credentials tent. They're like, oh, you actually need to go to this gate. So I go to this gate, and I'm like, oh my God, what am I doing here? Like news outlets with cameras and just me with my tie and my bucket hat with a polo. And I make friends with another guy, probably maybe a little younger than us, but met him. Shout out Noah from the King's Court. Our
Oh, yeah, they started following us.
yes. So
All
if
right.
you
Shout
notice
out to the
more
King's
throughout
Court.
the day, it's because I was making small talk networking. But Noah from the King's Court, I was like, listen, like, what's my layout here? How do we do this? They had done all the games, so they are locked in. Like, they've even flown to games.
Wow.
So I kind of followed Noah's lead a little bit, getting in there. What we did, I thought we went immediately on the field. So basically, I had an hour and a half pregame from 1 to 2:30 on the field, and didn't really know what to do first. I just kind of walked around. Coach Shannon Harris exchanged pleasantries with me, and then I realized that like Coach Williams was, I mean, 2 feet from me. Like he was on the bench sitting right there, and I said, Coach Williams, this is my first time here. I'm not used to this sort of thing, but like, am I allowed to ask you a couple questions? Would you be okay with that? I was like, yeah, absolutely. So I had a nice little interview with Coach Williams, and then even off camera, we elaborated because we both had the experience with an impactful teammate that passed away way too soon, and we connected on that. That was really a nice moment, sobering before everything. But I went on my way. And then I think what really broke me in and made me feel comfortable was when I saw our first guest of the pod, Mason Fairchild, come onto the field, who unfortunately was inactive for the game. But he came out with Jordan Teama. So that gave me, I dapped up Mason, asked him a question. That gave me an in with Jordan, the spring goat, of which I called him as much to his face, the Fly Shields Fly spring football goat. Had an interview with him. I saw Mike Caddick, who was the Indiana center right before the Kurt Signetti blow up, who's become an influencer on Barstool. Really, just a lineman's lineman that loves to do a kick step and a power step. So we got a couple kick steps and power steps. Um, and then what else did I do? Oh, I think the coolest part for me is when people that we had interviewed started noticing me and coming up and saying hi. So we had Dre Mintz came up, gave me a hug. Easy, Anthony Hines, X, by the way, who's huge. Like I felt like I didn't think I would feel like
Like a
small.
kid next
X,
to him. It's a
yeah.
big man moving fast.
Coach Kais came up and shook my hand.
Dude, you were like a real celebrity down there on the sideline.
I saw Casey Rogers later on as well, and he came up and dapped me up. So it was really cool to feel connection to the guys in that way. Um, and then once they broke out for the pregame stuff, that was really cool to be in the middle of offensive line Indy, defensive line Indy. I showed you that clip that I got. I don't think anybody else got of Derek Roberson joking with the referees about his hit on Mr. Rogers. You see the referee lower the crown of his head to like show him. I mean, we got that clip. That's a
Yeah.
neat
You
clip we
were
got.
you were busy, you were active, man. You went from media member, and I assume you probably went into coach mode watching warm-ups on the sideline.
Yeah, Coach Braswell was doing no line stuff. It was nice. Mm.
And the interview you got with DC Coach Williams was amazing. Like nothing short of amazing. You asked him a question about what it was like to be back in this game, and then you got to a question about that we both love about your favorite teammate, and he shared about his teammate that he played with, that he built a real relationship with, who passed away from cancer way too young, like you said. Wild conversation to be able to have, and to be able to have that vulnerability right there on the sideline
Yeah, on the
before
side.
the biggest game of the season.
Yeah, yeah. That was. It very much felt surreal. So just to give fast forward, that was like the nitty gritty of it. But to fast forward, I was like, you know what? I'm going to find the press box. So I'm going up to the press box, and it's legit. People have their laptops set up, free Wi-Fi, outlets, and then they had a food buffet. I mean, jumbo lump Maryland crab
Oh,
cakes,
come on.
cheesy grits,
Come on.
shrimp, chicken, and you better believe. I mean, I was a savage. I like put all my crab cakes out. I put the grits on top. I made it like a casserole. Scarfed it down. Then I shoved 8 water bottles in my backpack, and then I left, and I never came back.
And then I left. And then it was time to become part of the beer
Yeah,
snake.
I needed to go with the people, and my buddy Bill in the beer snake. So then I went down, watched the first half. Uh, awesome experience, and I know you spotted me on the telly. That the beer snake. So for those that don't know, the Junkless Snacks or something sponsored all of the cups in the stadium. They got gold United Bowl cups for the beer snake,
Awesome.
and I mean the rims of it were definitely thicker, so they
Ah,
went
built
further.
up a little faster.
It built up faster. I mean, it was insane. I will say, like at certain moments, it brought out like the worst in people because, like, the beer snake was bending and it was much more complex, I guess, with the weight distribution, and a couple times it split. And people are yelling at each other about the beer snake splitting. I'm like, guys, we're at the United Bowl stacking custom gold cups from overpriced beverages. Like it's fine. It's it's
It's
okay.
okay.
It's okay. It's gonna be fine. And they were trying to coach us on like I was like, any engineers here? Any George Washington University? Any Georgetown engineers here? Can we get somebody up
Anybody
here?
from Howard Architecture?
Yeah.
Anybody?
Um, but the beer snake was awesome. And then another cool moment is I didn't realize until I got there that I got field access for halftime. So right before half, I went down, got on the field for halftime for the 50 Cent performance. Made a buddy from the Just Win Bets podcast. We're maybe looking to hopefully looking to collab if their schedule allows soon. But he introduced me to Mike Rapoli, and Mike Rapoli was actually just a really nice guy and pleasant to talk to, even though he was clearly like stressed out and moving and shaking. By the way, the picture I took with Rapoli, to have the founder or owner or whoever sold vitamin water holding a vitamin water was like, I don't know, just a
While 50 Cent is performing.
yeah. So I got his contact information, so hopefully have Rapoli on the pod. But he was super nice, and then just was like stage side for 50 Cent, ridiculous. And I
So did
will
we do
say,
anything? Did we handle the beef?
so my criteria was him playing for 20 minutes,
Uh-huh.
and him playing Hate It or Love It,
Uh-huh.
and he played for over 20 minutes, and he played Hate It or Love It.
So now the beef is officially settled.
So, would I like some formal acknowledgement of 50 Cent from 50 Cent regarding the beef or regarding the Fly Shields Fly podcast? Maybe a follow, maybe a share,
Right.
maybe a like on an interview. Yeah, like I hope that happens someday. But
Okay.
I'm willing to be the bigger person and, you know, say that 50, it was a heck of a performance. You gave the people your time, you gave the people your effort. And here's the real thing here. He and his guys that were up there performing with him, they were wearing Defenders gear. Not
Yeah.
even
Oh, they were locked in on DC.
so they were wearing. So that really is what did it for me. They were wearing the Defenders gear. So anyway, and we'll talk about more of the game experience after. But when I got off the
So we
field,
can say 50 is a friend of the pod.
sure, we can say
Hell yeah. Hell yeah.
he's a friend of the Shields Up Nation. So went up to the seat for the remainder of the game. Super stressful. We thought we were on top of the world. Didn't break our way, and we'll talk about that in the game breakdown. But I had access to go to the press conference and also go into the locker room after 30 minutes. Which could you imagine going into the locker room after the win?
Would
Would
have
have
been electric.
I would have had champagne as hair gel. Would have been awesome. Um, but after the loss, I just kind of sat there, sulked, heard "Mad World" in my head. All around me are familiar faces, going nowhere, going nowhere. Anyway, I'll stop. But so I didn't go to the press conference, didn't go to the locker room, and yeah, went on about our day. So that was my media experience.
You looked a little like you were starting to get stressed when I saw you on the telly. So Coach Mars at the game in DC, on the field, in the press room. Meanwhile, I'm throwing my shield up from State College, Pennsylvania. Uh, my wife had an Ironman the day after, so we were up there
Go.
prepping, relaxing, making sure she had all the things she needed, all her fueling, all her pre-race preparation, for her to swim a mile, bike 56 miles, and then run a half marathon through the hills of State College. I'm chilling on the couch, throwing my shield up. I tap wifey. I'm like, "Yo, Liz, I think that's Mars." And it's a shot of you from
Behind, yeah.
yeah, it's from behind and it's looking down the bleachers. And then the camera flips and it's your big smiling red beard, your DC gear on, your polo, the candy cane tie with the polo,
My
which
gold cup.
again, not my look, but you pulled it off, and the lemon hat really set it over the top. there were a couple lemon hats, especially during the 50 Cent performance, that were down on the field, and I kept trying to find you, and I couldn't. But in the second half, when they had that shot of you very clearly on the telly, it was pretty cool to see you. I was getting all the pictures, all the videos, all the interviews in action, so it felt like I was there all the way from State College. So I can't imagine how great of a time you were having, and if that would have gone our way. I think, did I call 26-20
You
DC
said
Defenders?
22-16. I was
Twenty-two
I was
sixteen.
I
Okay.
was thinking that you were close.
Okay. Wasn't super far off, but I had them flipped. Had them flipped. But
No.
absolutely iconic day for you,
Yeah, it
and
was. It was
only
special.
would have been better if we were hoisting that trophy.
It was a special day.
You want to get into the film room?
Well, I'm gonna do the red eye first, sponsored by Together Skateboarding and
Get
Coffee.
in there.
I
Go
do
for
have
it.
some, and so one, we've been giving Money Matt McCrane a lot of grief the last couple weeks, and he showed up when it counted. He's 4 for 4 on the game. He's good
Nailing
for
them.
48, 43, 30, and 60 to keep us in. And
Really was the guy who was keeping us on the scoreboard.
here's something I just can't let us lose sight of, and I think this is easily one of the coolest things to happen in the United Football League this whole spring football experiment. Do you know what I'm talking about? I don't even know if I
Nah,
texted you about it.
nah.
So McCraden was lining up for that last field goal to bring us within 7. Well, we didn't know 7 at the time. The ball was on the 41. So I did the math. 41 plus the usual 7 yards of a long snap,
Plus
48,
10.
10 yards, 58. So people around me, I'm like, guys, it's a 58-yard field goal. Like, it's fine. Blah, 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 blah. And then, at first, they put up 19 points. And then the referee comes out and goes, actually, this was a 60-yarder, 4-pointer. I turned to my guy next to me and shout out Toby from Seattle, who was he was on the other side of the beer snake from me. So we were chit chatting and we were talking about the ramifications for his chiropractor. He's going to go back home and be like, this beer snake was on his shoulder. He's a half-inch shorter. I said, wait a minute. They moved they moved the holder back to make it 60. Like,
Is that what they did? I thought it was the lost yards on third down. Did they move that back? They had to move it back an extra 2 yards?
the ball was on the 41 because I had looked at where the ball was spotted. The ball was on the 41 yard.
Wow.
So and then they put up the 3 first, right? So that shows me the referees thought the same thing. But they set up on the
They're
50
probably
yard
going
line.
off the normal 7. They moved it back to 9. So that changes a lot. That
They
changes the timing. That changes the distance for the snapper,
the
for the
blocking.
holder, and the timing for the kicker. And he still knocks it down. That's impressive.
Like that's
I don't know how many field goals have been kicked with a 9 yards from the snap.
maybe I'm stupid, but I think I saw something live that has never happened in football before.
Yeah,
That they moved the holder back to the 50 so
to
that it
make
would
it
still
longer.
be a 4-pointer to
What
get
a
with.
heads up play by whoever made that decision. If that's Coach Harris, if that's whoever our special teams coordinator is, that is a heads up, ball knower, ball knowledge, all types of skill level type of decision that was made in the moment. I love that. That's
So
amazing.
that was
Because
gonna
it's like that's like if you're taking the 3-point shot in basketball with your heels on the 3-point line. Take
yeah,
that step back, get your toes behind the line, boom, get the
yeah.
extra point.
That was gonna be my question for the press conference was regarding that. That was because apparently talking to some of the other media members, you kind of have to have your question
Ready.
locked and loaded before you go in there, or else you're not going to get it off. So that was what I had prepared. But we can't lose sight of that. I mean,
That's incredible.
I kept looking at Toby and be like, dude, I can't even get over this. This is so cool that we just had. But I couldn't get over it. But yeah, that's my red eye. Sorry, Money Matt. You really showed up when it counted. I know that you'll get a shot in the NFL in the next coming weeks here. And yeah,
And best of luck to you, man. Best of luck to all the guys. Not even just on the defenders, but all the guys in the UFL for real who are gonna get that shot. I think Hakeem Butler might get one. I think Some of these kickers might get a chance. There's going to be some guys from defense that get a chance. It's going to be really exciting to see uh, who gets the shot and what they make of that chance. Can't wait to see it.
Oh man.
I
What
got my red eye too. My red eye is just being wrong on the score. Just being wrong on the score. I thought we had it. I thought we were obviously going to come out on top, and I thought there was going to be more defensive stops. I know everyone dubbed this as the two greatest offenses in UFL spring football history, but I really had a lot of respect for the two defenses that were coming to play, and I think in the first half it really showed and started to wear down as the game went on. I think there were more points scored in the second half, but shout out to both teams. Shout out to both teams. The Kings came, they did what they had to do, and yeah, my red eye is just that we didn't we didn't end the game with more points than the Kings.
It's not going to work out for you well, Jordan, when you don't have as many points as the other team.
It certainly does not.
Typically results in a loss.
That's kind of the point of the game.
Oh, the Kings conquered. Anyway, freaking Mr. Rogers, dude. I still watch him. I'm like, what is going on here? Anyway, let's go into the film room. Boop, 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 boop. New sponsor alert. Boop, 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 boop. New sponsor alert. The film room sponsored by Gartland Plumbing and Heating.
Hey,
Plumbing and heating provider of the tri-state area. Maybe Metro DC, maybe Maryland, who knows? They'll travel. They'll travel for the right job. Garland Plumbing and Heating, friends of the podcast and new sponsors.
shout out Garland. Garland, right?
Gartland, G-A-R-T.
Gartland with the T in there.
Yeah.
Gartland for all your plumbing needs. We're gonna
Yeah.
have to come up with a nice little tagline for them.
Yeah, I was gonna say like fixing the mess, fixing the clog. I don't know. We'll workshop it.
We'll flush that out.
See, that got me back. That made me happy. That brought joy, immediate joy to my sternum. All right. So I have 3 things I want to talk about.
Let's get to it.
So thing one, I mean, we were killing it rushing the ball. 262 rush yards, including 4 carries for 111 yards by friend of the podcast, X Valaday. Now I was going berserk. That first 54-yard, I think he like let up on the clamp there because he thought he was out in the open. I mean,
No, that's just a
punch.
great. No, it wasn't. It was a punch up. It wasn't even a punch down. The defender that player was playing backside safety. He was on the backside of that play, came down, filled his gap. Zay breaks that long run, and he takes the exact perfect angle and doesn't give up on the play. Like, that's teach tape. That's tape that, like, I know that's from the other team, but that's tape that I'm taking back and I'm showing my guys because that's how you don't give up on a play. That's how you finish, and that's how you have that hard work and that dedication to that snap pay off. Right? Like, Zay was by himself as far as there were no other DC defenders around him, but there were 3 Kings that were chasing him down. Whoever that player was, the backside safety, punches that ball out perfectly, just timed it up to when Zay's pulling his arm back to run, punched at the exact right time, and that ball went flying.
I
Had to
mean,
get like
15, 20 yards.
had
Yeah.
to go 30 feet in the air, and then it carried about 20 yards before it hit the ground and bounced all the way to the end zone. Like, he was if any of those 3 Kings players had given up on the play, he might have run for what? He had 111 yards on 4 carries. He would have
Yeah.
had 4 carries for 165 yards, right? Like, he was gone unless they put that effort in and like chase that play down. Teach tape, great job by the Kings. That's a game-changing play.
Yeah. It's a game-changing play.
That's a championship level play.
I don't think it was the game-changing play, but
It's one of them.
it's one of them. But X did get us back with that 51-yard
100%.
burst.
100%. And like
It was beautiful.
that's hard to fault him for. I know that's his responsibility is to protect the ball, but that's as I think that is more a great defensive play than it is a faulty play by the offense on that one.
Ultimately, not a balanced attack. I mean, Bean had
Oh,
19 passing yards
oh,
before he got hurt, and
yeah.
then Perry had another 50
Three
something.
completions for Bean.
Yeah.
I think it was like three for 11, 19 yards. Definitely not balanced. But we
So,
kind of expected that going in. Even with Bean, we thought he was going to be more dangerous with his legs, being able to extend plays, be able to get out of the pocket. And talking film room, the Kings defense did a great job of the defensive ends not over pursuing, not running past him and letting him escape the pocket, because that's where he does a lot of his damage as a quarterback. You have the defensive ends getting excited, getting pressure upfield, but they were rushing together. And I'm sure that was something they were coached on with him, making sure you contain him, get pressure on the inside, contain on the outside, don't let him escape, because they've seen what he can do with his legs,
yeah.
and that just wasn't really an option. He had to stay back there and try to throw the ball, and as we saw, it was not working out well.
Not to mention, like, those were his teammates like a month ago. So
Yeah,
like, they know how he plays. They know his tendencies. I know we were like, oh, they don't really have like they didn't play against Bean yet. Well, they
they played with.
played with Bean. So yeah. But point one, dominant on the ground, but not balanced. Nothing to go in the passing game. And then 2 and 3 are momentum and penalties. So 2 with momentum. I think two things really put us out to pasture here. That Eric Guerin scoop and score when Corey Mayfield walloped Ty Scott, ball comes out, Guerin scoops it, runs straight to the beer snake, and man, he hung out for the celly.
Yeah,
He hung out for the celly, and he made it known. I felt it deep in my soul. And you know
my
what?
man might have had to. He might have had to sober up at halftime. He slugged one.
The Guerin did. We gave him a. I think you're thinking.
Didn't he throw a whole beer down like
I think
right on his
you're
face?
thinking of your boy. What was that? 17. You're
I
thinking
thought
of.
I thought a Kings player also slugged a beer.
Oh,
Maybe
maybe.
I'm misremembering.
I just couldn't imagine them giving him one. I don't know, but so that happened, right? Silencing the beer snake crowd, and then the Bean injury. So the scoop and score followed by the Bean injury, like those two things, dug such a deep hole that seemed insurmountable, which but leads us to 3. We had moments where we all thought that we were getting out of that hole. You had the deep completion to Cornell Powell that they flag him for a push off. And then again, we have another shot. Braylon Sanders makes one of the most insane catches I've ever seen in a game. One hands it. And we have a hold on left tackle Jalen Duncan. Like,
Killer.
the football gods just killed us. And obviously I can't see the replay of the hold from the field. Like, that's the sort of stuff that I miss when I'm at home on my couch, being able to rewind it, all that stuff. But like, the football gods, man. I mean, to have those 2 catches both called back. I mean, those were okay, we're back type plays. Like, we're still gonna figure this out. And to EJ Perry, who was on his couch a month ago's credit.
Seriously, chilling. Actually, he wasn't chilling. He was staying active, waiting for his chance,
Yeah.
and he got it.
To his credit, he led us deep into the red zone.
Mm-hmm.
And then just couldn't figure it out. I turned to my new beer snake friend Toby, and I was like, he pulls this off. I'm getting an EJ Perry tattoo this week. In fact,
Before I leave Washington D.C.
well, I'm like, no, I already have an appointment for this, which I do. I already have an appointment for this week for something else. I'm just going to scrap it. We're just getting EJ. I'm getting an EJ Perry tattoo if he leaves this back. I was ready for it. I was ready for an EJ Perry tattoo because I thought it was going to go that way, but it didn't. So again, we have the dominant rushing game, but imbalanced, nothing to go in the passing game, except for those 2 plays that were called back. The momentum, which to me was really that scoop and score when Mayfield forced a fumble on Ty Scott, followed by the Bean injury. And then lastly, the penalties that really put down any chance of resistance or bounce back. Those are the 3 things that I wanted to talk about that I think led to the rise and fall of the empire. The terror must be maintained, or the empire will fall. And the terror was not maintained, and the empire fell.
Empire has fallen. Um, I think the momentum's a big thing, right? Like every time it felt like we were getting something going offensively, something went wrong. A drop ball, a fumble pass, or a fumble scoop and score. The fumble from Zay out the back of the end zone going the other way. There were just so many opportunities, so many points that were really left on the board because you look at the team and we had the turnover that turned into points. We had the Zay turnover that took points off the board. That's a 14-point swing right there, right? So you couple that with the fact that we were running the ball all over them, getting whatever rushing yards we wanted. Like Zay touched the ball 4 times and had 111 yards. That's absurd. So we were dominant when we could protect the ball, we were dominant. We struggled to score once we got to the red zone. Football changes a lot. Once you have those condensed areas, there's less space to cover behind, so you can play closer to the line of scrimmage, and it makes it a lot harder to run the ball. And, we were down to really our third and fourth quarterbacks of the year by the end of that game. So to expect that guy to come in, like you said, off the couch, out the training room, be new to the team 2 weeks ago and be able to score in the red zone in a championship game, that's a big ask. Um, the things that really made this a tough game to swallow were the inability to punch it in the red zone, to protect the ball, and to be able to capitalize on the momentum when we had it with the penalties. So you have those big catches, you have those big runs, you have those big plays, and like you look for explosives. I coach my team to be efficient on offense and to have 6+ explosives. Right? Efficient on offense is getting 4 yards on first down. Bam, we were doing that. Second down, you need to get half of the yards remaining. Third down, you got to convert. We were doing that down the field until the turnovers. We were doing that down the field until we got to the red zone.
Yeah.
And then you want to get 6+ explosives. So either a 15+ yard run or a 25+ yard pass. We had, I think I counted 7 explosives, but 5 of them either ended in a turnover with the Zay fumble or some type of penalty, holding, offensive pass interference, anything of the like, or ended up in a drop. So you take away, we were very efficient. That's how you have all those rushing yards. We were efficient in the run game. We were pretty inefficient in the passing game, and the explosives we created ended up being nullified. And I think that's the biggest swing of the game, even more so than the turnovers. I think we even overcame the turnovers, which is really hard to do. But when your explosives are getting annihilated, your explosives are getting erased, really hard to be able to maintain the momentum like you talked about and sustain the amount of offense that you need when you have explosives getting erased and you're having turnovers. So we were in it, man. We were in it, and it felt like we kept taking ourselves out of
Yeah. I don't have I don't have any other words. Yeah.
it. Was it did it feel like we had the momentum when you were there? Like,
When we were like with what was that? What did we get to the 6 yard line or something? Like,
yeah.
I mean, oh yeah, because you texted me about the costly yard because it was like fourth. It was 4th and 5 from the 6, right? Is that
Mm-hmm.
what?
Mm-hmm.
I will say like that whole because it just felt like push off called back, one
Yeah.
handed catch called back, and we still got within striking distance. There was a ton of momentum in the fan section. And I will say, like the fans showed out. I mean, so they say it is a sellout, and I do believe that it was a quote unquote sellout. Now, I do think bots or vendors or sellers bought up the remaining tickets and tried to resell them. I would probably say it was at least 80% full. I think we had the attendance number said 19. I'd probably say there was 16 to 17,000. It was full. It was really
That's
full.
that. I mean, that's a rocking stadium. That's
Yeah.
that's rowdy for Audi. That's a great turnout.
So it did feel. I mean, a lot of it's wishful thinking, right? And that's sports. Like you see openings and you cross your fingers and you put your hands on your existing friend and your new friend you made an hour ago's shoulders, and you just pray to the football gods. And there was optimism there, and it didn't work out. And I will say, like, I don't fault. I really like that play call by Coach Keiss. I texted you. I said I couldn't see who was in that crossing route, but he had him. If
Oh
Perry leads him, well, you said it was
man,
Sanders, right, or Powell. Um, Whoever it was on the crossing route had a mismatch.
it
Had
was Powell. And they ran the perfect play call. Coach Keiss knew they were going to be in man coverage on the defense. Called mesh, which is a concept where
I love man.
both receivers are running to the opposite sides of the field, and if you're trying to cover that with man coverage, it's really hard. You're
You're
trying
chasing.
to chase. You're trying to chase Powell across the field, maybe like 40 yards, and even when the ball came out of Barry's hands, Powell knew it was a missed throw. There was some pressure in the pocket. He couldn't quite set his feet and throw across his body
Yeah,
how he needed to, and it ended up behind him. But man, if he puts that, even if he floats it and lets Powell run up under it, he's gonna walk in for a touchdown. And like,
yeah.
man, that place would have the. I know it's an outdoor stadium. There's no roof, but the roof on that mother would have been blown straight off.
That EJ Perry tattoo would be on me right now.
You probably would have had to get that one like on the jugular at that point.
I know we joke about jugular tats, but
That's the one.
you're not wrong. Throwing it all away for EJ Perry. Okay, all right. Let's move on. So usually we would do the look ahead, but I think it's important to take a look back, and I have a list of people to thank. So I want to thank from the Defenders communications team, Drew McDonald and Sarah Littlejohn, for facilitating our player appearances. That has given us great joy, great insight into the team, and I think, has really boosted our legitimacy as the official, unofficial, official podcast of the DC Defenders.
Great content. Like they helped us get some phenomenal content,
Yeah.
some great connections, and like really, really, truly friends of the show.
Yeah.
And I know you mentioned players, but I don't want to forget Coach Keiss who gave us a great, a
Yes.
great, great interview. So yeah, shout out to both of them, Drew and Sarah.
Thanks to we had Mason, we had Coach Keiss, we had Easy, we had Hines, we had X, we had Dre Mintz, we had Casey Rogers. I mean, they gave us their time, they gave us vulnerability, and that was really special. Onward and upward. I want to thank the listeners, right, that have put up with my spamming of Facebook and Reddit. I want to thank two listeners in particular. John, we had both of these guys had something in common with us. So John is the high school coach from Georgia who's a Defenders fan, so giving us that feedback from a coach's perspective and connecting in that regard. And then Doug, who is connects with us because he is an Eagles fan and a Defenders fan as well. So John and Doug, just guys that I really look forward to. Sometimes you get crickets when I was posting this stuff, and they always gave affirming feedback and excitement to what we were doing and appreciation, and really appreciate that coming from you guys. So thank you, John, Coach Grimsley and Doug Johnson. Thank you guys. Go Birds, shields up, go coaches. I also want to thank my DC crew, right? One of my best friends and teammates from college, Pat, Carrie, Peter, Haley, Austin, Ann, right? Without them and me going down with them to these games and them being in my ear about embarking on making a podcast, it doesn't happen without them. So shout out to them. And then lastly, you, Jordan, you, Coach Jay, because I had this idea lingering in me for a while, and you were like, let's do it. We need something to talk about anyway. We don't see each other enough anymore. And, you're always helping me grow and be better. And the more and more we talk, the more and more that happens. So I think we've created something really special, not only for the Defenders media and the Defenders Nation and the Shields Up fans, but also just for our own relationship. So love you, buddy. Thank you.
Oh, damn. Got me tearing up on the pod on a Monday, Tuesday morning. I want to give some thanks too. Thanks to Together Coffee and Skateboarding, our first sponsor, the easiest sponsor to secure.
Yes.
Shout out Ron and Sarah and everyone who works at Together. Um, and yeah, shout out to you for embarking on this journey. You know, I'm the king of side quests. So thanks for hopping on this side quest with me. It has been an absolute joy. You going above and beyond, putting the show together, the flow of the show, posting the show. Once I put it through production, you getting it out and getting it seen and listened to on the socials. Um, Also, big, huge thanks to Anthony Hines the third. Bill is dead, and he's kind of the one who pushed for us to start posting on social.
Yeah.
It
Yeah.
was a little late in the season, but I think the social is starting to grow for us a little bit over on Instagram. And he was the one who kind of put that bug in our ears, like, "Hey, you guys should be doing this." So we can share, so we can post, and he shared and posted his interview. Dre Mintz shared his and like got us all types of credibility, not only in DC but also in Philly with the Philly publicly connection. So yeah, shout out to everybody who had any part at all in this. Also, shout out to the wives of the pod for allowing us to to take an hour plus for our just the two of us episodes, and 30 to 45 minutes for our interview episodes, almost 2 hours a week, in addition to all the coaching responsibilities we do and we meet and we have, to let us just get in the bag and get in the studio and chop it up. So shout out wives.
Yeah. There you go. Oh man. All right. Well, one more final whistle to bring us home.
Toot toot.
So this is something I've had in the chamber for a while, but it's just really quintessential DC. And for all the early onset people are like, how are you going to be from Philly doing a DC pop? Blah, 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 blah. I do have a very intimate connection with the district, not only because of being a social studies teacher and having loved ones here, but just a really special relationship with a condiment that is exclusive to Washington D.C. My,
Yeah.
my final whistle here is that Mambo sauce is is the best condiment, is the best sauce in the United States of America. It is the official. The bottle says like the district's sauce or the official sauce of the capital, something like that. But tangy like barbecue sauce, sweet and sour with a little kick, a little spice at the end there. Mambo sauce is so good, and I will say, if you are a Philadelphia person out there, about a year ago, Acme Supermarket started
Yep.
carrying Mambo sauce. So it's the only place I could find it. I would actually have like I would go when I would see Pat, I would like bring it back with me. Now it's at Acme, overpriced. It's like between $8 or $9 for a bottle, but it's worth it
The old Philly markup.
because Mambo sauce really should sponsor the Defenders. That would be a match made in heaven. I would get merch. Man, it'd be a problem. But anyway, Mambo sauce, sweet and sour, tangy like barbecue, a little pepper kick at the end there. It is dynamite. You got to get you some Mambo sauce, or if you know, you know. There it is.
My final whistle. Actually, that let me give that final whistle some due justice and some due time. Yeah, that sauce is elite. It is a the top tier condiment. It goes on anything. It goes on fries. It goes on your sandwich. It goes. You well, put that on some pizza.
I've
Fold
done
that thing
both
up.
those things. I've done.
Great addition to whatever meal you're having. My final whistle to is actually a look forward to next season, um, and looking to grow the pod even more, getting more community engagement, continuing the player and the team and the coach engagement, but also being able to have some people who might not be on the field on the pod, reaching out to some of
Absolutely.
the other DC Defenders content creators, some UFL content creators. We already had the connection and the introduction to Mike Rapoli. Man, I want to shoot for the stars for next year. This was our trial run. This was our rookie season, and we made it to the championship game. Literally. Coach Mars was at the championship game with credentials at the United Bowl, sponsored by Credit One. He was there, feeding the snake, doing it all. On the field, pregame interviews. On the field for 50 cents performance. In the beer snake for the game, making friends, meeting up with old friends, meeting new friends. I just want to see what we do with this in our second year. There's no chance of a sophomore slump. There's no chance. It's not even in the cards. We're on the rise. DC Defenders, the Shields Up podcast, Fly Shield Fly podcast is on the up and up. I can't wait to see what we do in year two. And that's my
Did,
final whistle.
is this? Did I have a dream, or did I see Teamu interviewed and he said he would be back? I think it might. It quite literally might have been a dream that I had but
I don't remember seeing that, so it might have been in your own subconscious, but I hope it's true. Hope that's a dream that comes true.
we can dream. But I will say, Defenders, 2023, 24, 25, 26, we've had 3 championship appearances in those 4 years. Now, we're 1 for 3 in those championship games, but that's a pretty great clip, right? Proud of that for us. And
Heck yeah.
we'll be back. Oh, and so a couple ideas. I want to do our end of season report card. I have a interesting little snake draft system to it I think you'll like. We'll talk about. And then I also want to do a keeper episode where we
Ooh.
talk about the play. Like, I prepare my list of players that you'll keep, like, to not be
Yep.
subject to being picked up by other teams in the draft. And then you prepare your list and we'll compare them. I think those would be 2 great episodes to get us going.
Love that. I love that. So that's the final whistle, but it's not the final time that you're going to hear from us. We're going to be back, and you don't have to wait till next season. So like, follow, share, comment, subscribe, do it all. Stay clicked in with the Fly Shields Fly podcast. But for now, shields up, mics down. Peace.